Hello there. Um, this room's really echoey now. There's nothing in it apart from, well, the stuff that was here yesterday. I'll give you a quick peek. Still haven't got Wi-Fi working. I got a letter from Virgin saying they'd up my internet from 10 till 20 megs per second, which is great. But unfortunately, I don't think that may have caused my Wi-Fi to stop working. But that's fine. I'm just plugging it in. Just a little box down there, and that's fine. So I've been mooching around today. Been quite interesting, really. My mate Craig Turner, who's I don't know, he has a vision. He's got a lot of energy, and he sort of ran something past me that's realised perhaps I should think about making sure my work is presented properly in the right places and all this. And I'm kind of taking it on board now, because even though I'd like tens and twenties here and there to buy beer and things like that. At the end of the day, if I'm supposed to be taking myself seriously as an artist, I probably wouldn't do stuff in the little local gallery. I don't know. It's a tricky one. I think the long-term view might be better. Um, it's tricky. It's tricky. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to getting this room set up. And if anyone wants to exhibit, let me know. I'll get your stuff in as long as you throw a good opening party. There'll be a room for you to crash, and that should be fun. Make it a bit of a social event. Now I'm just going to take one thing today and just talk about the power of memory. Can you see what that is? Now it's a razor that I got from Stonehenge, and well, let's just go for it, right? Basically, there was a time in my life where I was basically quite stressed out, and to overcompensate for the amount of stress I was under, I thought the best thing I can do is treat myself to a mad vehicle, and I did have a bit of money saved up, so I sort of discovered a love for American vehicles. And I went to this place near Pinewood Studios where they actually had a lot of the cars that were used in movies that were shipped over, and they were flogging them for reasonable amounts of money. And I went from wanting a convertible, and I called them like the Will Smith mobile type thing, with a sort of a convertible black car that you'd expect to be in the Miami video, and they're just sort of going to Miami, and they got the top down. So that was sort of what I wanted. But what I ended up with, falling in love with, was a Chevy Day van, which is quite similar to Mr. T's one. That was a Dodge. This one had a sort of like a light blue, I think it was, sort of light blue colours with a sort of painted wood veneer down the side. And it was gorgeous, it had all the mods and cons and all this. So that actually addressed a lot of the stress and the miserableness, as buying possessions does. I mean, I think we're all trained to see buying possessions as something that really gives us worth, and to buy something as sublime as a Chevy Day van, it's very good. So I didn't get much use, but I won't go into that. What I will go into was there was friends were meeting up in Cornwall for New Year's, and I could only get a few days off work. I was a bit late with getting my request for holiday off, but I just thought it'd be fun to drive down there for a couple of days, and so I headed off on New Year's Eve, and I think it was 1998. So yeah, I think it was 98 to 99, pretty sure. So off I sped. Now I got this thing up to, well, I did most of it about 100 miles an hour. It was a 6.2 litre diesel engine it had in it, and automatic as well. So this thing, I'll tell you, there and back, 200 quid just for the fuel, and that was when fuel was, still expensive, but you could kind of stomach it. Anyway, so there I was. I didn't want to stop. I had some bottles of Coke, and I was necking that to keep myself awake, because I think I'd probably come off a night shift or something ridiculous. There was an incident where I really need to go to the loo, but I didn't want to stop, so I weed into one of these bottles. Later on, I reached down without looking, picked up a bottle I thought was a Coke I'd already opened, and took a swig without thinking. Or, or even thinking about it now, um, if you've ever drunken wee wees, and I think some people do, it's supposed to be a healthy thing. That's fine, but I wasn't expecting it, and it didn't take long to realise what had happened. But anyway, I'd never been to Stonehenge, so I had this big silver puffer jacket, and there I was, New Year's Eve '98, walking around Stonehenge, feeling like some kind of spaceman. Thinking, I think there was a sort of picture, strange UFO picture of this guy like in a spacesuit. I think one of those sort of conspiracy type photos. And yeah, I felt like that. You know, I thought, oh god, this is amazing. This is sort of some sort of weird moment where I can freak people out with my big space puffer jacket on the eve of '99. I don't know. I was a bit nuts and a bit more nuts. Well, probably the same amount of nuts, but without the experience to keep it under my hat. To put it that way. Yeah. Anyway, so my souvenir was the Stonehenge rubber, and lots of experiences like that you can forget, I think. So just having the one thing, one object, can just, it was just like straight away. All these memories, they're like fresh. They're like yesterday, and I don't think that's necessarily because my memory's a bit messed up. I think it's, and that's partly what my problem is with getting rid of stuff. And it's Stonehenge. It's actually sort of rubbed off a bit there, hasn't it? But that's it. That's my souvenir of a chapter in my life. It was great to see all the gang. I call them the in crowd because they're really good friends, you know. But lots of ups and downs we've had together and apart, and then coming back together and have a whinge about the ups and downs, and friendly ribs at each other, which is good. So stayed the night. The next day, jumped in the van, whoosh, straight back to work. I had to get back to work very early, I think. I'm not sure now. But anyway, and again, I was doing quite a lot of speed. I was breaking the speed limit. And I was running on fumes, which was really stupid. And I was dying for the toilet again. And I wasn't going to relive the incident with the bottle again. I sort of decided I'll never do that again. I'll always stop and go to the side of the road. No more weeing in bottles for me, anyway. So I stopped and I put about 20 quid's worth of diesel in the van because it was one of those expensive ones on the out of town. And I just sort of, after I sort of paid, I said, where's your toilet? And he was this guy. He just went, no use toilet. And I was like, no, I really need to use your toilet. I'm sorry, I need to go to the toilet. I was like, no use toilet. And he really shouted in my face. And so I just went, well, I'm not paying for the diesel then. And I left. And I drove to a garage, and I was kind of a bit worried. At the same time, I thought, I'm not being spoken by anyone. I wouldn't expect to be spoken to by anyone. And you know, I just was freaked out by it anyway. So I felt kind of relieved. And when I got to another garage, I said, look, can I use your toilet? And I said to the guy, look, I've just done this, what's going to happen? And he was like, well, it depends, you know, strictly speaking, you will end up being chased down and you have to explain yourself. And I was like, no, that's fine. So, yeah, so there we are. He let me use the toilet. I went off to work. I was a bit late, but, you know, they forgave me and carried on shift at the Sci-Fi Channel. And it was a few months later when my dad contacted me and said, I just had a phone call from the police and they're basically trying to track you down to make sure you pay this £20. And I was like, really? All right, so no criminal proceedings. It's like, no, it's classed as a dispute. So even though I'd driven off without paying the petrol, because they had me on the guy on the camera going, no use toilet, and they had me going, well, I'm not paying for the diesel then. That's a dispute. And I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to use that again. I'd like to think so. I mean, how far could you take it? I'm not paying my council tax because you keep putting up shit superstores along the river, bringing the whole town down. That's a dispute, surely. So we'll see. I don't really want to go that route. If I do any of this stuff, and I've talked to friends about some silly things I want to do with, just, you know, I can relax a bit now. I'm kind of I'm sort of retired at the moment. I'm pretending I'm retired. I can get up to all sorts of nonsense and not really care too much about it. But yes, I will have to, like I said the other day, I don't like documenting things, but I might document some stuff just to see where I can take some of these ideas I've got. So there we are. So sorry if that wasn't what you were expecting today. I thought I'd tell you the story of the Stonehenge rubber and what that reminds me of, what that means to me, with a little humorous story about the petrol station. He was Indian. I'm not saying anything else. I bet I get into all sorts of trouble for those sort of statements. I'm not going to go there. Right, so let's play out with something. So it's still got the trusty Welsh song. It does actually have copyright notice on this. I don't know, it's Records Pacific Records PLC. So maybe I ought to be a bit more wary about that. So, ooh, look at that. George Harrison picture disc of Fab. Let's have something we haven't had before. I'm not going to play any Prince because he'll come right down on you. Any mention. Oh, now this is good. Right, there's a guy called Paul Walton at uni. We used to call him smart as bleep, because his catchphrase was that smart as bleep. And he started DJing, and he went in for the DJ championships in Newcastle. He did really well, and this is one of the tracks he was mixing to, and it's fantastic. And at the time, I think it was probably the fastest track I'd ever heard, BPM wise, beats per minute wise, and it's not now compared to the stuff nowadays. It's quite slow, but we'll stick a bit of that on, and I might dance around a little bit if you're lucky. So. And I hope there's no one out there who's actually... I'm a bit worried that people are out there a bit confused that I've got this big ego or something. I haven't. I won't go into it at the moment, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why you might think I've got a big ego. That's all I'm saying. It's not true. Listen to that. It's fantastic. Try not to make it jump. Sample from Robocop. There we go. So it's pretty fast. Get my cap out. Get my cap out. Actually, I'll get some bad boy clothes on. Hang on. Right, here we go. It's a bit big this, I've got this one on. microphone.
I haven't got slip mats, but with a slip mat, you can easily go. But someone showed me this great program on the iPad actually, where you've got the decks and you on the screen. You can do that. You can stop it. I should get slip mats first actually. I'll have a look on eBay after the show. Okay. I think. Look at these.
Right, that's enough. I'm getting quite excited now. This isn't good. I was supposed to be having a miserable day today, a miserable day off, because I was being quite a good time the last couple of days, and I've cheered myself up. So I hate it when that happens. Right, bye folks.